Hey smokers, Drago1 here, and today I just recorded the most depressing sounding video I've ever recorded. Just look at this! Hey smokers, Drago1 here, and today we're revisiting again the iPod Touch second. Once again, try to install an SSD into the second generation iPod. Now, I've had a lot of comments about how this either is impossible or I need a special converter. I did get one suggestion which was somewhat interesting, and that was that I actually forgot to change the partition map from master boot record to Apple partition map. I have to take the iPod apart again. And then you turn it like this. Now, this is probably not good for your knife. Oh, but look at that! We're already making progress. That didn't sound good. Doesn't look like there's that much damage. Turn it, and then try back up again. I don't care if it's almost totally destroyed here. What I care about is whether or not this works at all. Plug this in again. So here's our major problem here, GUID partition table, which is even newer than master boot record by a lot. This probably would have had even greater success if it was master boot record, but let's set it to Apple partition map, because that could have been our whole problem right there. Let me get this very important dialog. Process for a bit, and then you know you've succeeded once it does that. And the source image is going to be this right here. Let's put that right there. The destination is this. But you can't do that. You have to use the volume. And so let's go ahead and restore. Drago's iPod right there. So it is detecting that it is an iPod again. Now you can see it does say Apple partition map. And this should have all the files and stuff to run the iPod. Here's the stuff, iPod control, and it has one song on there. So let's eject that. Again, there's no need to use the mechanical drive at all. We just have our image that perfectly cloned, or at least I hope it perfectly cloned. Alright. Now really at this point the only thing I have left to do is put the drive in, put the battery in, and it should actually just work. There's no need for me to hook it up to a computer unless I want to load some more music in. Okay, so just make sure they line up. 6 pins on this side are open. Nope. We can try to connect it to the computer to see if it'll actually detect it so that we can format it from there using iTunes. It's going to be the last step to try. Plug the FireWire cable into the iPod. It says do not disconnect. So I want to say that's progress, but on the Power Mac G5 we had stuff showing up here. But here's something I didn't try last time. So we want to go to FireWire, and what do we have? An iPod is detected. Oddly, it can say it can go up to 800 megabits per second, but that's just including the FireWire 800 ports as well. Yeah, there we go. Maximum speed 400. iPod unit, subunit. So it knows it's there, but it doesn't do anything. Let's launch the old version of iTunes. It's version 11.4. We could use Rockbox. Screw all the Apple folder stuff that doesn't work. Let's just get freaking Rockbox, man. We got version 1.4. Guess that'll work. Select your audio player. We got Apple. We got Apple first and second gen. Stable. Let's auto detect. I think we're still plugged in here. iPod is still powered on. List has grayed out, or beach balling. Shit. First and gen, second gen stable, okay. I don't really know what this is. Ah, we could have a problem. And that's because the iPod's no longer mounted. Okay, so we got this. Let's click OK. Alright, let's click install. Could not open iPod, permission denied. So let's try and unplug the iPod. Okay, permission denied. So it just says that if it can't do it. Then my guess is the problem is between the iPod and the computer, and not the computer and its software, or some weird problem there. or the software on the iPod. We can't even get the iPod to mount whatsoever. So actually installing Rockbox probably isn't going to work. This is the original iPod hard drive. We don't even know what partition map this is. What if it's actually master boot record and we just skipped right over it? Well, let's take a look. Well, the easiest part of the whole video. And it is indeed Apple partition map. We could go with yet another theory, thinking that maybe the destination partition is too large and that 120 gigs is too much. Alright, let's switch back over again. Alright, it's in. Let's look at partition, and oh, look at this. So our disk clone, did it exactly clone exactly? Or it added a few steps afterwards, because if you take a look at this partition size, it's the entire size of the disk. How do we fix that? Well, let's drag this down until it says about 20 gigs. Let's give it 19.60. This partition will be resized. Partition failed. Could not modify partition map because file system verification failed. Does that mean it worked or it didn't work? I don't know. Well, even if we have to format it, I don't really care. So let's redo it all together. And let's resize this down. Size, let's call it 18 gigs just to be safe. What the fuck? Apparently I have to use the entire thing. Let's plug this into our Linux machine and let GParted resize it so that we don't let a little baby disk utility resize it. Let's a real man software. Or a baby. GParted is, from one perspective, could be the baby software, because if you're not using the terminal, you're a baby. I cancel that actually. Resize, move. New size in megabytes. Let's try 16 gigs. And then we have another unallocated 100 gigs. 16 gigs here. So the hope is that maybe the iPod can't see past this line and just ignores that that's there. With this partitioned all the way out here, it says, well, the partition is broken because it ends right here. If that's the case, that's just ass. So let's go ahead and apply the operations. It's done. Okay, so let's plug this right back into the Mac Pro. Okay, so we can still see this. And if we take a look at the partitions, the software may crash because, as you can see, this is locked up here. We're beach balling, so that's not good. So we have fucked something pretty severely here. But the good news is we can open this. Or maybe we can't. I think I've locked up Finder. It's locked up Finder. I can't open that thing, so yeah, you know what that means. It's fucked. So the last thing we can try with this thing would be a Linux clone. Forget everything we ever learned about stuff with disk utility. Screw it. We're going to do a sector by sector clone of this drive into an image and then copy it back onto that. It should be completely one-to-one and nothing should be left out whatsoever. No more bullshit. This is just what it does. The drive's not spun up. So we'll probably have to put this back in the iPod again, and then we'll go ahead and do the clone, because I'm assuming, because this started happening after I messed with the partitions and then I forcibly unmounted it, so I'm thinking that that may have something to do with it. iPod is ejected. Plugged it into the Linux machine now. Now we'll move the FireWire cable out of the way. Oh sweet Jesus, that was a bad idea! iPod almost hit the bid one, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so we got Apple iPod detected. We have access to its file system and partitions. Create disk image. And it's going to take it of the entire device, as you can see right there. Well, shit. Oh, for Christ's sake. So I'm not sure if the iPod's going to give me access to its entire system, or everything that's on it or whatever. Partition to save or restore RAM. I can Take images of RAM. Okay. So SDG3. I don't know if it's already going to give it a file extension called image or not, but we'll do that anyway. Okay, save partition onto a new image file. F5 is next. File system of is HFS plus and is not supported. Son of a bitch! Let's try it again. What the fuck? So that's right, everybody. All you Linux enthusiasts are all familiar with the DD command. Yeah, the data destroyer command if you don't know how to use it. We all know that I formatted drives in my past before, and let's not do it again and pay very close attention to just what the hell's going on. This is the command. Okay. We already fucked it up though. Let's go back. Let's see what we did. If equals, there we go. Good lord. This is pretty hefty. Something's gonna go wrong anyway. Just watch. We have an iPod just plugged into FireWire and we're doing this. DD. I didn't do sudo, because that'll fuck me over. Drive spinning, if it was a true DD command, you probably wouldn't do a lot of grinding because it's going to start from the beginning of the disk to the end of the disk without doing any kind of thrashing noises. So how do we know what the hell's going on? So apparently this is what Linux tools do. They don't give you any information about what's going on. It's actually working right now. How do we know? Well, let's just pay attention to what's happening. It did something. It created a file called iPod.img. Right now it's 2.4 gigabytes in size. And it's probably growing. 2.5. Okay, let's wait a minute. And now it's 2.6. So we need to wait for that to get all the way to 18, give or take. And then it'll be done. So let's wait, I guess. Ah, there it goes. So let's just watch that. Oh, crap. Oh my god, it finished! So of course I recorded like 20 minutes of like blank footage, and then the screen just times out right when it finishes. But this is what happens at the end of the command. Records in, records out, 20 gigs copied, 12.6 megabytes per second. We're done. GG. It's over. So now we have our perfect image of the iPod, I guess. Now we need to plug in the SSD. Okay, I'm going to power on this enclosure and hope that the drive can get detected, because I think I'm having some problems with this enclosure. Or drive sled, or whatever you want to call it. The discs, and it doesn't show up, of course, because it's an ass. Let's restart it again. It still doesn't show up. What the fuck? Let's try plugging it in with FireWire. I don't know. Why does nothing work? What the fuck? I think my drive adapter is fried. It doesn't work anymore. I lost it. It's gone. If you're curious what it does, it just does this. The green light's on, that's it. See the green light glowing there. Unplug the FireWire. This is what it was doing with the other drive too. So it leads me to believe that it's the adapter, which really is going to hurt us. So I'll turn that off. Turn it back on. As you can see, it just doesn't do anything but light up. And that's it. So I guess we could plug this into the iPod and hope that Linux can see it. What else am I going to do? Actually, the DD command caused the hard disk to get really fucking hot. So I guess I'm not even going to have the battery connected right now, just because I think the FireWire can power the drive just fine. Got our 6 pins. The Linux machine right now. FireWire should just power it up, even though it can't do anything. Or that FireWire card doesn't have enough power to power this thing up. Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever had so many things consecutively go wrong. It's pretty bad. We're getting into some pretty bad. This got turned around. See, even the plugging in the battery part's fucked up, because I don't even know which end this is. Yeah, okay. The reason it didn't come on was because the FireWire cable was actually disconnected from the computer. Oh my god. But still, that worries me that it didn't come on with the battery connected. But let's try it again. Most of my problems are user error. There we go. Alright, there's the folder. So let's see if it comes up in disks. Of course it doesn't. But if I have this connected, it will show up in disks. Let's just see if we can see this pop up in real time. I've just now unplugged the iPod with the SSD. I'm going to plug the regular drive back in, and then I'm going to plug the FireWire cable in right now. Oh, never mind! There it is. So let's go back again. I'm going to insert this, plug it back in again. Get the Apple logo, folder icon. And we'll just let it sit there for a little bit to see if it'll pop up. So as you can see, nothing's happening. So if this doesn't answer your question as to whether or not this SSD will work under different circumstances, I really don't think it will. So as you probably guessed, it didn't work. Not a big surprise. But are we out of options? Probably. But there's one more thing we can try. Yeah, believe it or not, there is. Apparently, the iPod 4th generation still uses the ZIF cable and the 1.8-inch IDE. Observe. Almost looks like it would barely fit. But apparently it does use that. So theoretically, since this is a newer iPod, it's in color. I actually showed it in another video that was totally unrelated to iPods altogether. So if we put Rockbox on this, you can play Doom, actually. How awesome would it be if we could play Doom on an SSD on an iPod? That'd be pretty dope. I don't know if that will actually work at all whatsoever. And we're probably going to have another failure on our hands, or a totally broken iPod because I fucked up and didn't open it right. So let's go ahead and crack this open like we did the other one, and get this carcass out of here, I guess. Jesus, look at all this. I looked a little bit online about what this looks like when you open it up, and the first thing you see on the top is the hard disk, which is all we really care about. Okay, let's take a look at the sizing here. I don't even know if it'll fit. I'm glad it's thin. Maybe the hard disk's that thin, I don't know. But below it is the battery, and the battery is like about this big. I think it's right there underneath the hard disk, and the battery in this kind of sucks. So if this works, this might be a cool iPod to, like, I don't know, have in the car plugged in all the time so it doesn't die, you know. And then it has that cool little thing right there, and so you could actually use it as maybe kind of like a sound recorder, because with Rockbox you can actually tie into that if you can find a microphone for it and record some stuff. So would I use that? Probably not, but you know, it's sort of a proof of concept sort of thing. Now again, using a knife, not the best way to open an iPod, and I've never tried to open this before. I don't even know if this is the right side to start on. Something tells me these can be a little trickier than the other one, because the other one's just so up. Look at that. There we go. You saw it here live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Pre-recorded, same thing. And before I cut slice into my hand, right? Oh crap, I did the wrong side. See that ribbon there? Something got broken there. What is that? Oh shit. Oh, it's actually this little ring around that. That's gone. Ah, so you gotta push this way. I'm pushing this way, and then it sort of frees it, because you're pushing away from the tabs where the tabs are hooking on the chrome back there. Ooh. Whoa, what the fuck? Okay, so this is supposedly how you're supposed to do it. Okay, so that makes sense. So it folds out. This connects to the headphone jack. Make sure you don't rip it, obviously. Pull this out, I guess. And doesn't that look like a familiar connector? And guess what? The hard disk is thin enough to match the same as this. So I could actually pull all this gooey shit off and reattach it to this. But I ain't gonna do that. See pretty clearly this is the battery. This is insulative material. This is shock resistant material. I could salvage it. I don't know if this metal back will short anything here. They've sort of made sure that won't happen with this fuzz here. Fuck it. Ah, fuck! Ah, damn it. So yeah, that'll work. Since we actually still have one of the tabs on here, it only has the tab on one side, it'll fit in. There we go. So yeah, that's how to install an SSD in an iPod 4th generation. I really had no instructions on how to do that whatsoever, by the way. So now I could, take some of this off. That does sound like kind of an intriguing idea. Just sort of give it some rubber mount so it doesn't wobble around in there. But of course, it's not gonna. I hope it wasn't on while I did that. That would be kind of ass. Let's try to turn it on. Say what? Well, this is just gonna break. What? Okay, so apparently I did this while it was still sleeping, and I believe it still has its library kind of cached in there. But let's see if, because I can't remember what was on the SSD in terms of music. I'm pretty sure this isn't it. So if I go into here and I try to play it back, there's my new album. Shit ain't gonna work. Oh God, what's happening? That's some glitch shit, man. What? Let's do it again. Oh! It's just glitched out. Okay, obviously that won't do. So let's force it to shut down. Obviously it's not going to do anything because it's going to try and, it's going to try and boot off of essentially iPod 2nd generation shit. So what do we do? Well, we got to try and turn it back on, but put it into disk mode. Now disk mode is important. Yeah, see it says disk mode at the top. Theoretically this should work. I just need to plug it into the Mac Pro. It should work. Again, this is what happened last time I tried to do this, and it didn't work. Let's try and plug it in. Oh my God, it's showing up! Okay guys, no joke, take a look. I don't know why it has the FireWire symbol. I guess that's because that's what's still on the SSD. But let's see, this is plugged in via USB. Oh yeah, that's right, because I resized the partition. Okay, so it's fucked basically. Capacity 16.56 gigabytes. That means that that's the partition it's actually successfully reading. So that is true about the partitions. Let's take a look at disk utility to see just what it says about the iPod. It does detect that it is a 126 gigabyte iPod. This is a success scenario. Let's take a look at the partitions. It's probably a goddamn mess. Yep, it is. So we could actually technically resize it, assuming that disk utility isn't a big baby. Out to 120 gigs. Of course it failed because it's a piece of shit, but could restore iPod. Now, just a reminder, I don't think I have a way to connect this to Linux. If it connects to Mac, it should connect to Linux. Let's use Linux to repartition the drive, because disk utility is just a mutated child. Get out of here, Audacity. Okay, so we got the Linux machine started up, got the iPod that's still in disk mode. I'm going to plug it in the Linux machine before it dies. Alright, I plugged it in, and whoa, it works! Holy shit. So let's go right into GParted. Oh, sweet mother of mercy, look at all this nonsense. So let's unmount. Resize. What the fuck? Why is that not allocatable? Shit. This might be our last hope, actually, to get anything working. Why can I not resize it? God Come on, man. Don't do this to me. You know. Wait, what? I can move it like this, but I can't make it any bigger. What the fuck? Seriously? I go, oh yeah, I'll put that right over there. Yeah. Why you got my... Is it because there's an unknown partition in there? Is that it? You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna delete it all. We'll just go fresh HFS. I don't know what the partition map is going to be or anything. What the fuck? Oh my god, the iPod's just saying that that's how big it is. I don't know how else. I think that, oh my god, I think the iPod is actually fucking us over here. Because, partition map has no partition map entry. Who cares, just as long as it works. Okay. So let's plug it back into the Mac. Okay, so this is the screen I was waiting for. iTunes has detected an iPod that appears to be corrupted. You may restore the iPod before it can be used with iTunes. So that means it's going to reformat it. Restore iPod. Yes. I'm really scared. I don't know if it's making any progress or doing anything. Oh my god. But guess what happened? The iPod died. It's dead. Every time I restore it, it dies. So now I have to plug it into a power adapter or something, because I don't know if it succeeded or not. This is so annoying. Look at that. It's like plug it into a power adapter. It's like, oh my god, I don't have time for this. I gotta go find a USB adapter or something and like plug it in. Like, this thing is literally falling apart. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's looking good so far. Let's see if it boots up. Come on, baby. It's like I said, the battery's crap. Don't know if it's going to be in a boot loop. Come on, come on. You can do it. You got the backlight. Yes! Oh, and the battery's dead. So let's select English. Let me turn it around so you can see it better. Okay, so the only thing we care about so far, settings, about. Oh yeah! 118 gigs of solid state storage. I think that's a win. If I do say so myself, we did it. Now the only thing left is to put a better battery in this thing because it's ass. But we're not going to do that today because that's not the point of this video. But we did it. We actually did it. So let's snap this thing back together. Yeah, let's forget about the rubber baby buggy bumpers and just like do this. Okay, I mean that looks secure. Repping that crazy king spec, yo. Probably gonna rattle around in there. Turn off, goddammit. That's not bad. That's back. We're back, and we're solid state, so we can shake the fuck out of it. Yeah! So here's a weird thing. Look at the battery life. It's like full. So I don't know why it died. Maybe that's what happens when you restore it. It just kills itself battery-wise. So let's load this baby up. Hey! My iPod's not that new. Showing some crazy fancy-ass iPods on the side there. Okay. Oh my lord, look it! It even has a little tag. A custom tag for 128 gigabytes. Like a little emblem. It just knows that, oh, it appears you have a 128 gig model. Here's the tag for you. Okay, so, yeah, that happened. Friggin' awesome. So let's load it up. Go back to our library. Again, I don't know what happened to why the screen looks blue or whatever. And it's got the wavy lines or something. So we'll go ahead and go with my new album here, Robots with Malware, and just came out with it, and that's why this video is delayed, so my apologies for that. We're going to go ahead and drag that onto the iPod. And we're also going to get this U2 song as well, because you know, Stevie J and that Johnny I, they like that. They like them really chill tunes. You know, they like that U2. I couldn't get any Red Hot Chili Peppers today, but that just happened to be on the computer for some reason, so I'll add that in there as well. Drag it over there. Now, of course, you can sync a whole lot more music than just 7 songs, but this is all we're going to put on here for now. And again, this will be a Macintosh formatted iPod. Again, it doesn't have to be. You can make it a Windows formatted iPod and use Rockbox, which is something that I'm going to do in another video. So, because this one is already long enough, although some of you probably would like it to be longer. I'm sure there's some people out there who want shorter videos. I'm thinking about maybe doing a poll, like an official poll that says, do you want shorter or longer videos? And if you do want shorter videos, I'll just see if I can do shorter videos. And yeah, longer videos, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. So everybody, thanks for watching. I'm glad this could finally come to a close. I was really hoping that an SSD could get working in an iPod. But to be completely honest, I'm glad I got it working in the iPod Photo, because Rockbox will just make it awesome if I can get that to work. But we're going to experience that some other time, have some great fun with that. SSD Doom iPod, I think so. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you're interested in downloading my new album, you can download it for free on Bandcamp. Check the link in the description. Thanks.